Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the one and only show, man? Live from Houston, Texas. It's the go-to girl, professional comedian, TV producer, and founder of MarriedDate.com. It's millionaire matchmaker, Amber.
What's up, guys? It's your matchmaker, Amber Neal, and it's effing Friday. I don't even know why we say effing Friday. It's because we be cussing our ass off during the week on the show anyway, right? But we try to keep it somewhat PG. Welcome into the show, guys. Today we are talking about things.
Live from Houston, Texas.
We like it so much we want to hear it. Things that we do today, I have a very special guest on the show today. And, Stevie has had me on his show to talk about relationships. So we're going to reverse it today. We're going to talk about relationships, but we're going to hear from him what he thinks about it as well. So before we welcome in Stevie Ray, let's welcome in my co-host, DJ Houston.
H-Town.
Hey.
We had to play it again for H-Town.
Yes,
Hey,
yes.
what's going down, everybody? It's a beautiful Friday.
Yeah,
It is
Friday.
Friday.
It's rained all week. We damn near needed a boat every time we come into the freaking building.
That part. But you know what? I don't care because it's Friday, which means
it's
I'm
Friday.
off. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
my gosh. It's so funny they say that people dress according to their mood, right?
Right.
I noticed you've been wearing blue a lot this week. So what mood are you in? Blue's a happy color.
Blue's generally my mad mean color, but when it's a lighter blue, it's usually light blue is my favorite color.
Ah.
It does my eyes justice and it does my
Yes.
skin justice.
I know,
So
guys.
I don't know, it's just when I'm in like really good, like flirty, looking good, feeling good kind of mood. And that's kind of what I've been in this week. I mean, we've had a lot we've accomplished this week.
Yes, it really
We've had Married Date lunch. We've been, we've had a lot of things going on here on the show, on the network.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, there's no reason not to go and feel good about it. Like,
Well, I'll tell you another thing to feel good about. It's one thing if you are a one-time champion at something. But when you're a 19-time champion, let me make sure I say it right. 19-time world professional 19-time world professional wrestling world champion, former leader of the NWO. Y'all give it up for Stevie Ray. The fans go crazy.
calm down, everybody.
Yeah.
Calm down over there.
I love talking to Stevie. We met so many years ago. I can't even remember. It was like way back, like, I don't know, a decade or something. And we just met randomly. We had just both been over doing some show or something. And we met this after hours place. There's like a bunch of people. And we just started talking. And we're like, you know what? We should do a show together.
Right.
We've said that from day one. We should
Yeah.
do a show together. And then as it turns out, life happens. He developed his own thing. I developed my own thing. But we love doing shows together. So, we're gonna try to get Stevie Ray more on the show. Because I appreciate you bringing me on your show as well, because it's the one thing no matter what industry you love, what your favorite sport is, what your favorite music is, the one thing that people love to talk about is relationships. And so today, guys, I want you, Stevie cracks me up. I mean, he is so funny. You'll see what I'm talking about. His answers are just he's so straight faced when he gives them, but they cracking you up because he's like dead serious. But today we're going to talk about things that singles need to hear, because, when you're out there, you get a lot of advice from your mom or your auntie or your uncle, your dad, your cousin, or your best friend.
And that's the problem.
And thank you.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you can be getting advice from your whole friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I've done some research on it. I've done some very in-depth research.
Yes. And the conclusion is, okay, let's not listen to them as much.
yeah,
right?
see, I haven't done in-depth research on it, but I have done in-depth actual experience on
Well,
it.
that's a part of the research. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, okay, I guess
That's
I
the
got
part of
hands-on research. You know what I'm saying?
You ever know how certain actors, they'll get incognito and go into certain places to learn?
Yeah.
That's research.
Okay, I see like method acting.
Yeah.
They really get into the character. And, okay, I guess. So I guess I've done a lot of research on it
Yeah,
too, you know what I'm saying?
If you're studying it.
Well, of course, the only way to learn from it is to study it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how I learned from That's what my mistakes are.
Yeah.
They have to be studied, so I learn not to make it again.
Well, that's a part of my research also. So
I got a real funny question for you, Stevie, because one of the topics, Friday's show is specifically about bringing up the stuff we talked about during the week as well, right?
Okay.
And there's a couple things we want to get your feedback on. Have you, you've been a celebrity for a long time.
Yeah.
So how do you ever get used to, when you go in the public eye, when you have that dream and you're in the public eye, what people don't prepare you for is the trolls, the haters, the naysayers, and all that stuff, right? Now, it's easy, and you always hear that celebrities will block their comments, or they don't want to read the comments sometimes because of all the trolls. And yesterday we were at lunch, and I had somebody send me a crazy text, a random text message, didn't know who they were, and started talking about the way I look and insulting me and stuff. And I was just like, why would people take their time to go out of their way to look at my number, find out who I am, and text me an insult? How do you handle that kind of stuff? I mean, you kick their ass.
No.
They probably don't come for Stevie. I'm probably asking the wrong person.
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about, but I've never had anyone text me
Directly.
not on my phone
Yeah.
or anything like that. But I've had people say things about some of my content that maybe from one of my old radio shows or one of my old podcasts or something like that. And I'm from a world, an entertainment world where people critique you a lot. So I got skin like an alligator.
Yeah.
But if it's someone, let's say they're just printing something, I always know it's more people that appreciate what I do than don't.
Oh, that's
Then
a great
again,
way to look at it.
some people just want to be what you just alluded to, a troll.
Yeah.
And now, I'm the boss of all of my stuff now. So now I'm not under anyone's umbrella, whereas I have to censor myself. I'll give you an example. I was doing my podcast a month or so ago, and you can call into my show. I do it live.
Right.
Remember when you and I were doing the show?
Mm-hmm.
You helped the guy out. You helped him out with a date. You helped him out and giving him confidence to go out and pursue his love.
And it's crazy because I actually wound up talking to him afterwards, and I was
See?
trying to give him some date coaching. He's like, I don't really think I need date coaching. I'm like, the fact that you say that, the fact that you called into a show for advice proves you need coaching.
You need
The fact that you don't think you need it and the way you're coming at a woman proves you need it. But okay,
But I'm just saying, you helped him.
Yes, I did.
He called in and he's seeking help, and you helped him. So at the end of the day, that's cool. But then people send in comments while I'm doing the live show.
Of course.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and one guy had made a comment on another show that I did, so I had my producer, Matt, reach out to him and tell him, hey, what if you got so much to say about me, come on my show and you can debate me.
Ooh.
So then he sends a comment. Matt's watching my show as I do my show, so he's overlooking a lot of stuff, even though we're not in the same town.
Yeah.
He's producing the show. And this guy responds and said, I heard you wanted to debate me. No, I didn't want to debate you. I just wanted to castigate you right now.
Yeah.
So on the show, I began to call him every single solitary thing known to man. So he tries to comment back, but I'm like, I'm a professional wrestler.
Exactly.
Nobody out talks a professional wrestler because this is what we did for a living, talking about each other. So now I can do it off the top of my. So everybody will sit in, laugh out loud, and ha ha ha, posters and stuff like that. Till the guy just left. So in essence, because I'm not the kind of guy that likes to get into personal stuff. But I'm just showing people, don't disrespect people for no reason, because this is what might happen.
Right.
Because some of the things I was saying, I would say, hey, send me your email. I will send you the link. You can come on the show. But he's not going to do that because the email exposes you.
Yeah, because it tells you who you are.
Smart. Because he even called the phone number.
I sure did.
And he was like, if you got something to say,
say it. Like, exactly. Like, why are you hiding behind a screen where
that's what they
that's
feel.
what they do.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, look, I am a great detective when it comes to social media. I will hunt you down. And I was hunting yesterday. I was going through each and every avenue because I said, I will find you. I know you're watching right now, and I know who you are. I figured it out. We figured it out, and I'm coming for you. Right. You just gonna wait. Just wait. I'm coming for you because I got all my little trolls who got nothing better to do coming for you. Okay, like because I really like, if you got something to say, I have no problem with anybody's opinion. Yeah. It's your opinion. You have the right to say it. Don't hide behind a screen where we don't know who you are, though. Especially when you want to insult people. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And they said I'm unstable. She said I was unstable for responding to her. I'm like, you're on my phone, and what?
Well, my thing is this. I'm going to use that one person. I'm going to use him as an example. So the next person that wants to go down that route, because some of the things I said was excruciating. Because I went back to where I grew up, and I'm saying things like, I can't even say it on your show. Okay. It's that bad. That's what I'm saying.
You can.
On a live
I was like, look, we got to put this at the 3 a.m. episode, please.
And I'm like, back when I grew up, we played the dozens. And we talked about that's the dozens.
Well, I went for the mama first.
So
she always goes for the mama first.
And it was like, I knew that Matt is going to have to. He already knew. This ain't gonna. It can't be a part of the show, but he can fix it. Whereas he can get a little.
Yeah.
So the next guy that wants to do that, now you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I invite everybody on the show. You want to come on the show, debate me about something that I said, or something that you don't agree with. I'm more than happy, and a couple of people have.
That's actually not a bad idea.
A couple of people have.
Right. I mean, we have no problem roasting people. Amber. Amber. She's rubbed off on me a little too much. She actually told me the other day, she's like, I can't believe you roasted that guy on air. And I was like, it ain't my fault. You want to be dumb? This is our show. You don't come and insult us on our show, because then we have a platform to come for you.
We want you to be on the show. We're just not Uber. We're not going to come pick you up to be on the show. That's all I'm trying to say.
Some people get off on that. And I'm like, I'm not trying to give people attention in that way.
And that's what I was telling Amber yesterday. I said, if we just completely ignore this person, never respond anymore, I said, then it really kills them that much more. I said, just every message that we respond to, they're living for it. That's what they want. They want to keep going.
I'm doing a live show, live video, live show. Every night that comes on a certain time. People, my Twitch followers, everybody. I even do it live now on Facebook. I even do it live on YouTube. So I got a platform where people can look at 3 different ways and see the show, and they like the show.
Exactly.
And it's always one sap that wants to say something stupid, and then I'll get stupid and like, hey man, this ain't. I'm not the one.
And he's probably a 40-year-old still living at his mama's house, and that's why he's mad.
And then when you get on them, and then once I get on them, the followers get on them.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I got all my little trolls out there waiting, because if you want to come for me, I got plenty of people who love me and adore me that are going to come for you.
That want to see the show.
Exactly.
Just shut up and go. There's plenty of shows out there you can go bother them. This ain't one of them.
I mean, literally, you're out of everything you could be doing with your time, your literal focus is to take time to text me and tell me I look bad. Like, that is literally your, and then try to blow me up the rest of the day. It's like, go get some business, because real entrepreneurs, I promise you, we don't have time to be sitting here dealing with all that crap. We're on to focusing about what we have and what we love.
So in essence, to answer your question, that's how I dealt with it in that platform. But just, hey man, I learned a long time ago, you can't please everybody. I'm here to entertain. That's what I got paid to do. Entertain people all over the world. And I'm not trying to save the world.
Oh, that part.
I entertain the world.
Exactly.
That's all we're trying to do.
So,
I'm like, you have to be a real special kind of jerk to hate on Cupid. Like, I am a freaking matchmaker.
Or just straight up crazy.
I mean,
just
seriously,
straight up
like
crazy.
my whole everything I touch is about love. So to attack somebody like that, that just means you need more love. Hurt people.
Love will
Right.
always conquer hate.
Exactly,
Amen.
exactly,
Amen.
and that's why I'm saying at the end of the day, all these haters can hate as much as they want, but look at where I'm at. Look where you're at. Okay, I can't care anymore. Like I really can't. I get between the show, DJ Houston, and every other little thing that I have my foot in. I got haters on every corner. I got people talking trash every day. Especially since COVID, I gained a little bit of weight. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still living my life. I'm still happy. Hell, I'm still bossing up. You know what I'm saying?
I think the COVID thing helps hate.
Right.
Because it seems like things have elevated.
Right.
You know, even I see it on my platforms. But I try to stay at an even keel and don't, like you said, don't give anybody credence. Because there's certain stuff I'll just ignore, but it's certain people that step across the line.
Exactly.
That guy, that's a whole nother ballgame.
And I feel like those certain people that push that button and then break that button, those are the people that, you know, yes, I'll come for you because I'm not gonna, obviously somebody's never told you how stupid you are. So I gotta be the person to tell you, you know?
Hey, my pleasure.
Yeah, don't take my kindness for weakness.
Exactly. It's the same thing as when I'm driving, you know, ever sees, she's like, you get road rage sometimes, and I'm like, but you know, it's not even the fact that I'm getting road rage. I honk my horn at them because sometimes I have to believe this, that they really just don't know that they're doing wrong. I said, and how else do you learn that you're doing wrong unless somebody tells you that you're doing wrong? And it's not like I can just get out the car, go knock on your window, and be like, hey, jackass, you know, you cut me off back there, right? No, I'm going to give you my horn because I'm still moving. I got to go. But that's my way of saying, like, you're wrong. Because, you know, when people just sit here and let people be stupid and never tell them, maybe they really, truly don't know that they're doing is wrong.
That's
you know,
a possibility,
people, just like I tell people with racism too, people grow up racist, you know what I'm saying? Because they're trained that way. Doesn't mean they know it's wrong until somebody tells them that it's wrong. Right. So if you just let them go out there and never tell them, then that's the problem.
The show, it's funny you say that. I do a show every Thursday with a friend of mine named Vince Russo, who used to be one of the writers, WWE, WCW, TNA, and that's what he came up doing. That's how we met. Wow. So now we do a podcast together, and we call it Black and White. But the show tackles what DJ was just talking about. We talk about things from a white perspective in generalities in this country, and a black perspective as to, matter of fact, the topic he just alluded to, racism. And certain things, when we first started the show, he had never thought about before.
It's true.
And we've been knowing each other for 22 years.
You don't realize how sheltered you are sometimes coming up.
Well, there's certain things you don't think about when you're from another culture.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not trying to make this show about that.
No, I know.
I'm just alluding to the point that you brought up.
And exactly.
And after doing the show for about, I think it was early this year. I think we just celebrated our first year. It was early this year. Thank you. He was like, you know something, man, ever since I've been doing this show, you have opened my mind up to so much stuff that I never knew and never thought about. And you know what? I said, by the mere fact that you just admitted that, and the mere fact that you opened your mind up to what I've been saying, that's what cures all.
Exactly.
Education.
But when you take a narrative that somebody else created for you, and that's the narrative that you're going with, and you never get a chance to hear some of the things that we and him and I have been talking about, then you will always have a closed mind to what you think it is.
Ignorance is bliss.
That is.
That's what I say.
And as long as people keep other people ignorant, you will always have a clash of cultures.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's been very interesting, especially somebody like me coming up, trying to do business in both worlds, and you get it from both sides. It's like, dude, I don't understand that. So somebody like me that is about unity, and then you deal with it from the white racist people that won't give you opportunities because you deal with the black culture, and then you got the black racist people that won't deal with you because you're white. I mean, it's just it's crazy. There's racism on both sides, and it's just mind blowing. But you know, today, guys, we're gonna jump into our topic because it is gonna be super juicy. I can't wait to hear Stevie Ray's answers. Okay, so today we're talking about something. If you are single, tune in. Okay, This is the topic today. Things that singles need to hear. Number one, you won't make someone love you by giving them more of the thing that they don't already appreciate. Now, we got two guys on the show, okay? One of the things as a matchmaker, I always say, men need to be appreciated. That's probably at the top of the list, in my opinion. What do you think, Steve Ray?
I think someone could give me a lot of money. I've actually thought about that a lot. I think it's more to that than what you're putting down there.
Maybe they could give you
I
a
briefcase
of money.
I can learn to love them.
Right.
I had a woman tell me that once.
What?
She said, I think you will eventually love me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe you know more than I do. But I had no plans on it, but hey, it could happen. But going back to your question, men want to be appreciated. I have to agree with that 100%. Because I think in certain cultures, all cultures are different. And that's the thing people have to realize, certain people take that's one thing that Vince and I should always talk about. I say, I know everything about you. You know nothing about me other than what you've seen on television and the few people that you know. That's not the way to get to know a people. That's the way to get to know a person.
Exactly.
Big difference. So with all that being said, I think that's true. Men do want to be appreciated, but also they have to reciprocate also.
Amen.
Yes.
And I think in a lot of ways, it boils down to your upbringing. If you don't know how to love and appreciate, then it's on-the-job training. A lot of people are around it because they might see it from their aunts, uncles, mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, this, that, and the other, and they see how relationships form and how people appreciate each other's very existence. But if you never came up around that, and the only thing you've heard is, you don't know, and you just try to do it on the job training. Let's say you see these guys treat women this way, and women see these kind of women treat guys this way, as young people as they're coming up. Then once you get out there in the real world, it's all convoluted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's no textbook on this. There's no right way or wrong way to do anything.
Amen.
That's it. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So something that, Amber constantly says that you kind of pointed out, you just put it in a different verbiage is, we have to kind of retrain ourselves from the way like our parents taught us, because not our parents are human too. They don't have handbooks. You know what I'm saying? They don't know. Exactly. Or maybe you didn't have parents, maybe you had foster parents or wherever you grew up in, whatever kind of situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to retrain yourself from that because maybe they didn't know and they taught you wrong.
Exactly.
So I know when growing up, I was not as open-minded as I am today.
Right.
I got told this is the way, small town, this is how it's done.
That's what I'm saying, how your environment can actually curtail.
It really can.
Your everyday existence.
Yes,
it will.
Yes, I completely agree with that because it wasn't until I moved to the big cities that I wasn't able to get more open-minded and learn about all the different cultures in the world. Now I'm so open-minded and I've learned about so many different cultures, I even switched my religion years ago when I found myself, when I found what I was living for, what I'm going for, because I was like, there's so much to life that there's no way that one person that taught me this can be right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially considering that they're humans just like I am.
Right.
And so that's why, I completely agree with how you say it. We have to repair ourselves sometimes.
Right.
We have to retrain it.
And being, my parents never raised us to be racist. We never heard any derogatory comments, but it was still very separate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, white people lived over here in this little town. Black people lived over here in this little town. And me and one of my best friends were the first people to openly interracial date 30 years ago in a very racist town. But that's how oblivious you can be to racism. It's just because you don't grow up in hearing the verbiage doesn't mean that the attitude isn't still there.
That part.
And so when we started dating interracial, we had to hide it because we knew there was a Klan in the town. And I remember my boyfriend's mom calling me and saying, "You're going to get my son killed." And I was just blown away by that because I'm like, what do you, honest ignorance is bliss. Yeah. Even though we weren't raised racist, it was still very separate. And even though we were integrated in the school, it was still, it's just that everybody lives separate. Why are we still living separate, right? And so so when it all came out, it's very, I'm happy to say that now there's progress in that town 30 years later, but somebody has to go first to stand up and say, I'm going to love who the hell I want to love, and it's none of your freaking business. And if your mind is so small, that's your problem. That's your problem with that. But I didn't even realize how dangerous this was until we're hiding and we're on high-speed chases trying to run from these racist kids that are the kids of these racist people. They're literally chasing us because, you know, small town, and we're at the Dairy Queen. Oh, Amber, Stephanie at the Dairy Queen. Let's go find, we see those other guys are not there too. Oh, they're all missing. Where are they? So they're going look and literally finding us. We're going to other towns and they're going to come in and finding us and chasing us, trying to catch us. And I'm just like, wow, it was crazy, guys. I mean, it was really bad. But
you know something? When you talk about that and you put it in that context, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about cultures. A lot of times you don't have to be taught to be racist to be racist.
That part.
Because of your environment.
Exactly.
It's not the words sometimes. Sometimes it's just the actions of what you see. And what people see, optics make a big difference. If you watch television every day and the only thing you see is white people, okay, that's right. You listen to the radio every day and the only thing you hear is a white narrative. That's a part of the deal.
Right.
Okay, with all that being said, you are subliminally being taught a certain thing that I am superior to other people of color.
Superior complex, that's right.
Of what you're getting on a daily basis.
Right.
Now, if you take that, it's like when my daughter was little, when I was looking for my house, because my last house that I had built, that I sold a year and a half ago, when I was looking to get a bigger house, you know, I'm making a little bit more money, this, that, and the other. My real estate agent kept taking me to different neighborhoods, Sienna Plantation, these kind of things, blah, 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 where there are a few black people, but not very many. So I had to pull him to the side and say, look, with all due respect, every neighborhood you've taken me to, I've seen nothing but white people. Now, okay, I'm a very successful professional wrestler, which I'm considered an athlete/entertainer. And I know in your mind, you feel as though that's what all athletes want. But no, brother, that's not what I want.
That's insulting just to even assume that.
Well, he doesn't know any better.
He don't know.
So
I'm not
coming down on him. It's an assumption that black people would think, anybody would think it.
Yeah.
Because that's what you see.
You must want to live in this white neighborhood.
So what I told him is, no, I want you to find me a neighborhood that's more mixed, diverse, with everybody.
Exactly.
And he was like, man, I'm sorry, I didn't. He said, I never thought about it. I said, I know you did. So he went and found me a neighborhood that had white people, black people, Mexican people, Asian people, Indian people, Pakistani people, this, that, and the other. A few of this and a little bit more of this. That's the neighborhood I'm going to live in.
Yeah,
and it's not because of myself. I can deal with anything. But my daughter.
Exactly.
I wanted her to learn how to appreciate other people's culture the same way she wants people to know her culture.
It's amazing.
So that's just me, though. Now, I've never told this story. I don't think I've ever told this story before. Maybe if I did, it was probably on one of my deals. But the point I'm trying to make is this. I don't want her to think certain this. I don't want her to think certain that. I even used to tell her, you know your dad can afford anything you want. But don't abuse that, because that's not what we're about.
Love it.
So then you start to not worship hard work, you worship money.
And I put that on there the other day. I said, I put this as a meme on social media yesterday talking about, I said, the problem is that y'all worship people's pocketbooks instead of their integrity, and that's the problem. And it really is.
But it comes from your upbringing.
Yeah, it does, 100%.
If you're around people that talk about drinking, smoking, doing drugs, this, that, and the other all the time, then that becomes normal.
That is normal. That's right. You never had a dad in the home. That's normal. You never had your parents. That's normal.
Because
like your family of crime. That's normal.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm
so they don't look at it like the general public look at it. Oh man, I can't believe it. Why can't you believe it? Because you're not from that world.
Exactly. Ignorance is bliss.
And it all boils down to that question that you're talking about. appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
If you never learned it, or if you don't know anything about it, or if you are foreign to it, how you gonna ask somebody for it?
Facts.
And that's funny because that's one of the things we talk about all the time is like, that's the point with the self-love journey. You have to love yourself before you can expect somebody else to love you. You cannot, it sounds like a cliche, but it is so real because you won't have boundaries. You're going to let people run over you. You're going to take abuse. You're going to take mistrust. If you don't love yourself, people, especially a lot of opportunists, narcissists, people that want to play on your emotions, they see your light and they're going to play you like a fiddle. That's why you must love yourself. But I always feel like appreciation is something that I'm very cognizant with people in my circle. I want anyone around me to always feel appreciated, and because I don't want to ever feel like I'm taking somebody for granted. I don't want to be taken for granted, and I want to give people their flowers right now and not wait, and make the effort. But
I like people.
Yeah.
People like me.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I enjoy kind of like a dog. I like being around you guys. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I dated a white woman. I'm totally opposite from you. I want everybody to see her. I drove around with the top down and said, hey, look, check this out.
That's only because
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yes, look at me now. Look at me now. But it was.
I wish I could have did that though. I always wished I could have.
But I was very happy with how my parents handled it when it all came out. I was hiding it more for her because she got pregnant. But it was, my dad was like, I don't care who you date. He's like, just get the best.
Your dad
that
said
exactly
the same thing I said to my daughter.
Don't care, just get the best.
I'm not gonna lie. And me and her mother was going through this, and I was like, I want my daughter to date someone that looks like her dad. But that's just my want.
That's what we want.
As a father.
Yeah.
But I do understand she comes up at a different time than I do, and she's around every single solitary kind of people. So whoever she's attracted to, I ain't gonna have nothing to do with it, but I can still want that as a father. But that don't mean I'm. So the first guy she brought to my house.
But think about it. Go back to what the neighborhood you picked for her.
Well,
okay. You set that up when you made sure she was introduced into diversity.
The first guy she brought
to. You could have moved there anywhere you wanted.
No. This ain't got nothing to do with where I moved to. It's got something to do with my fatherly teachings.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah. But she said, Daddy, I'm dating a guy at my school. I said, he's an actor? No, he's not an actor. He works on the crew that puts up all the stuff because my daughter was into theater. And I'm like, okay, what's his name? She told me his name. I'm like, well, what kind of name is that? She said, well, he's half Persian and half Colombian.
Ooh.
All right. I was like,
that sounds like DJ Houston style.
So I'm giving my daughter a birthday party. And she said, can he come by and meet you?
Brave man.
And I go, yeah, she can come by and meet me. So his mother brings him by, and he comes up to meet me and her mother. And it was cool, how you doing, blah, 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 this and the other. He's a cool guy, and his mother is out there kind of like waving, hey, how you doing? She never got out the car. But then, he and my daughter say something, he goes on and say, then my daughter walks back and goes, hey, Daddy, how do you like him? You think he's cool? And I say, I can't believe I said, I can't believe you bring this terrorist dope man to my house. And her mother started laughing. And she's like, Daddy. I said, no, I'm just kidding, baby. I'm just kidding. I said, he's cool, But her mom just died laughing because she knew I was going to say something like.
Everybody's at the party pause like.
You know what I'm saying? No, this wasn't at the party. This was the day before.
No, okay.
This is the day before. But that was the first time. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't a black guy.
The only time.
It wasn't a white guy. It was a Persian Colombian guy. But, that's my daughter, and I love her to death, and she's always been a progressive person all the way up to this day, man. And she still teases me about that.
Oh my God!
I can't believe what you said about
me.
that.
About my drugs and my blood house.
But my daughter appreciates. She knows so many kids in the neighborhood, and back in those days, those kids would all come to my house, you know, and I loved it. They would come by and be in my living room watching boxing, like if a Mike Tyson fight on. They could fix my card and my DirecTV. Those little kids.
Oh God, back in the
fix
day
it.
when
Yeah.
DirecTV had cards and things.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And they would fix them, and I could get the pay-per-views from. And I'm like, I can afford the pay-per-views. Why am I doing this?
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They would come, and there'll be little Asian kids in my house, Pakistani kids, Mexican kids, white kids, black kids in my house, little boys. You know, that would come by and ask me about advice on little things when they was going through the puberty stage and the high school stage. Asked me about dating, stuff like that. So all of them grew up to be very productive young men.
That's awesome.
So many of them in the neighborhood. And I feel I'm very proud of that.
No, that's true.
I never had a son.
You never know who you were fathering. That, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's how we grew up.
Right.
We grew up in a community. The community raises. It's the village. Nowadays, it's like hell. Parents are even scared of their own kids.
Right.
You know something? That's so true.
That's the problem is we've lost control of being able to parent our kids. And I remember when I was growing up, if the lady in the grocery store, she could smack the crap out of me or beat my ass right there. And my parents were like, "Yeah, you're gonna get it when you get home too." But that's how. All right, so let's move on to the next one real quick.
Yeah,
I know we're running out of time. But Stevie, have you heard of this culture that we're living in, the dating culture, that it's everybody's ghosting each other? Have you heard the term ghosting?
I've heard of that.
Okay, so that basically just means that like you're dating somebody and they just disappear on you. Like no call, no breakup, no warning. Poof, they're just gone. They're just a ghost, right?
Yeah, I think they used to call that splitting in my day.
Yeah.
I think he split.
Okay.
They got split.
You ever heard that?
Yeah,
I
split.
That was a little before my time,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah,
Well,
what
after the time of
what happened to
ghosting.
him? He split.
Yeah. What do you think about people that do that? I mean, I don't know if it's just because it's probably always happened. We just call it a different thing now.
I'm trying to think, have I ever done it?
Probably just disappeared.
You know, this is the thing back in our day. The phone was very important. Talking to people was very important. Communicating with people was very important. Nowadays, I don't really have to know you because I got this and I can text you all the time.
Exactly.
So in essence, when somebody goes ghost or goes off the grid, you never knew him anyway.
You don't notice it for a while.
In a lot of ways.
Usually. Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
that's
You don't.
true.
You never know him anyway.
I mean, I know I've been ghosted a lot, but I've ghosted people a lot. You know,
it's normal now.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, because you know, like you start off, you have a conversation, you're kind of getting to know each other, but then it kind of just dulls, and you're just like,
because
you know,
cannot communicate over text message. And text message is the worst form of communication there is.
Yes.
It is 90%
You never get to know anybody.
ineffective. You cannot hear tone, inflection. You cannot tell how they mean it.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot build a relationship over text. I cannot stress that enough to you.
Not
guys.
a strong one.
If it's important, pick up the phone.
Right.
Because back in the day, like I said, we didn't have internet, we didn't have text, we didn't have none of that. We were home to get the phone, or we were home. I mean, that was you don't realize now that was peaceful. Because you got to leave the house and you didn't have your leash with you.
And not only that, it teaches you how to communicate.
It's the communication skills. That is why people are ghosting, because they're not talking. They're not doing eye contact.
No substance.
There's no substance. It's literally, there's no investment.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, when I meet somebody in person, like face to face, they're probably never going to get ghosted from me because I actually know them.
Exactly.
You know, I feel an obligation
Yeah.
to be like, sorry, this just isn't working out. Like, I'm done with you, you know. But if it's just somebody that I've started a text message chain with and
I'm
we've been
gonna tell you
texting.
something. Let's say, going back to what you were just talking about, meeting somebody face to face. You meet somebody face to face, and you get to know a lot of them right then. You get to know a lot about them on your initial encounter.
Right, right.
Now, let's say you and this person talks, and you say, hey, let's go on a date. You go on that date, you've been talking. You can learn right on that first date if this person is worth pursuing or not.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Man. Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's the argument. I've said this for years. Men know when they meet somebody that it's a category. It's like, okay, that's potential for love or potential for tonight.
Right. Now, I'm no love expert, even though they call me the love doctor.
Ooh.
Remember I said that on the,
yeah.
remember I said that on the show?
I'm the nurse.
I don't know. I used to say that just to make people like, hey, man, come and talk to the love doctor, you know?
Because they can't beat you up. I mean, you're like, oh, Colin, if you can beat me up, you can tell me to change it.
But different people, even on the floor, man, would call in. Hey, Stevie, I'm dating this girl, and what do you think about blah blah blah? You know, like okay.
Because you're so well versed, you have such a huge. You're like my dad. You're one of those people that I don't matter what the subject is. He would talk about surgery procedures, or he'd talk about, oh yeah, Starbucks is going to downsize. I mean, and you're just like, how do you even know this stuff? Like nobody's even talking about this.
People pay attention.
You're ahead of your time. You're like 5 steps ahead of the average person. So that's why. But
yeah, and that's why when I hear so many female friends I know and they talk about some of these things, and I'm like, unlike Amber, you know what I say? You need therapy.
Oh, I say that. Oh, I agree. I can't
really
help you.
need therapy because as a man,
yeah,
if you're opening up to me,
exactly,
I'm the last guy you should be opening up to, which means something therapeutic needs to be hosted inside you because you
are the problem.
It's something in you. That's causing you all this mental anguish.
No, it's true though.
And you don't even know it.
And that's why
it's gotta be.
I'm a matchmaker, not a magician.
Right.
And that's why I screen people, and before I even say yes, I'll take you as a client, like the guy that called in, you have to be self-aware enough to know that you are the problem to be able to change your life.
You helped him get a date.
Well, he can't.
He called and he was very appreciative. He called my show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey,
he was like, hey, Stevie.
We'll be sending you an invoice.
I'm like, did you talk to Amber?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I met this girl and you start telling me she's this. And I'm like, man, good for you. Now I'm like, if I don't help my people, who will?
Exactly.
I brought Amber on the show one time, and she helps this lonely misfit.
Yes.
Total
misfit.
Isn't that progress?
You know why? Because
I'm getting goosebumps.
Because I lit his ass up. I lit his ass up.
See?
Why are you so freaking proud? I am tough love.
But see,
it is in love, though. It's not to roast you.
Exactly. But that's the whole purpose. And that's going back around to what we were saying earlier. If you don't know that you're wrong until somebody you don't know until somebody tells you. You can't fix anything.
I think
Amber
gave him immense confidence.
Yeah, I really did. I could tell him.
If I could find the show.
Yeah.
If I could find the show. It's been a while now, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's been quite a while.
And listen
about
to
3 months.
And listen to this. Because you got guys putting in message, oh, she's so beautiful, And I'm like, hey, look, dog, don't come on this show.
We're not making Amber.
The lady is trying to help people. Don't you come on this show, That's how I do the guys, Come on, man, get your eyes back in your head. This person is trying to educate you guys. That's how I do my show, though. It was funny. You remember that?
Yes, that was so much fun, too. I was like, okay, because I will go real quick from tough love date coach to comedian real quick.
It's great.
And I will roast your ass.
It's great.
And let you know you are the problem.
Yeah, but in that question,
ghosting is hilarious.
I think I guess it's more prevalent nowadays than back in the day because it was hard. It was hard to hide from people when you run in the same circles.
Right. Because that's the only time you talk to people when you ran in the same circle. Because you didn't have social media and everything to connect you.
DJ, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you one thing I'll never do. Now I've spent my whole life in gyms working out.
Right.
I would never date somebody from the gym.
I wouldn't either, because then you got to change gyms if it don't work out.
Because see, back in those days, there wasn't no gym on every corner.
That's right. You only had, I see you. I totally do.
Now, I know a lot of guys that did, and girls too, but maybe that's what they into. But I never wanted to be in the same place as somebody that I'm pursuing.
Right, and that's why I won't.
The swingers today.
And this is why I won't ever date anybody I work with. Because
or at church. Or at church.
Same thing. That was 2 of my rules.
Yeah.
Work and gym.
Yeah, because I was like, I learned, I used to date some people that I would work with, and then the second that relationship ends or anything bad happens, it carries over into work.
Oh my goodness.
And then the next thing you know, you're both out of a job.
Exactly.
Because somebody blew up at the other person while you're on the clock. You know what I'm saying? So I learned.
You don't shit where you eat.
You don't.
Oh,
really don't.
Amber, as a relationship expert, how do you feel about that?
You don't shit where you eat.
Now,
But actually, work is the number one way people meet. So, and work hours are the number one affair hours. People
right.
have affairs.
People are cheating.
People like, oh, they come home to me and because they got their nooner. They ain't worried about you. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that it happens a lot, and I think it's not. I don't recommend it. However, that is separate
it's something
from.
You can't help.
You can't help it though.
Right.
But I think for the longevity, the benefit is to separate. Once y'all fall in love, somebody needs to leave, right? Just to protect that. But then the other side of it is if you are an entrepreneur couple, that doesn't apply. Then yes, hey, go hustle your ass off together, work together. If you're entrepreneurs, I would highly recommend entrepreneur be with another entrepreneur.
Now my friend Jan Pink that I used to do Men Talk Women Listen with, and I told her that one day, and she was like, well, Stevie, why? I said, because I've seen it happen to so many people.
True.
And it's going back to what my man DJ was just saying. So many times I've seen it end bad.
It blows
for
up.
someone. I said, if you don't believe me, go ask Tabby Smiley.
Exactly.
And it's
remember that?
And even though, and I kind of want to point out what Amber was saying, like if you're entrepreneurs, it's a different story. But even because like even me and my ex-husband worked together. We worked together and we worked for the same company. A little while we worked for the same store.
Right.
But we couldn't because our fights would go into work. You know what I'm saying? Because there's as much as people can say that they can have a personal life and a professional life, you really can't.
Really need
you know
to
what I'm saying?
leave
Like
one at home.
You do, but a lot of
they
people
shouldn't be driving down the highway with you. And then
you need to throw it out the window while you
walk through the door with you.
See, and I mean, I'm one of the people who can turn it off. You know what I'm saying? Like I have my work life and I have my home life. Like I could be pissed off at you at home, but if we at work, I'm gonna keep it. But not everybody can do that.
Right.
So like I learned with my ex-husband, like we couldn't work together because he would. We get into a fight at home, and I'm gonna see you at work in about 5 minutes, and I'm your boss. So let's see what happens here. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's when the thing that you were attracted to, they're your boss, right? So it's like, a position of power. You're attracted to that, but then it becomes a thing that fires your ass.
Exactly.
Don't shit where you eat.
Exactly. It's really not worth it because like I said, both of you are gonna end up being out of a job. Like there's just no way it works where one person's out of a job.
Something I never liked though, because the reason I said that because I've seen it so many times, that tension that I know both of these people, and you see this tension, and now it's like, okay, I'm gonna stand up over here because I know they're going to do something. You know what I'm saying? But I'm friends with both of them, and now it makes my work area kind of uncomfortable.
Right?
That is a hostile work environment.
So that's why I'm like, I don't never want to do this because I don't want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Don't get me wrong. I had 100,000 chances too.
Oh yeah.
But I was like,
it ain't worth it.
I can't go against my convictions.
Exactly.
Right. And
that's when the problems start coming in, is when you make that one exception.
Right.
It just goes to hell.
Right.
And that's the thing. There's one other thing one angle we want to talk about we forgot. So you got people that work together in a job, entrepreneurs. But then there's artists, entertainers, singers, So because that's the one thing, we had Jazzy Baker on yesterday. She's on our Spotlight Sofa. She's a songstress. She's a producer. She's very successful in entertainment, right? But it's so hard for people in entertainment to find somebody because people have all these assumptions of what their lifestyle is like. Right. They think we're all hoes. They think we all are, They just don't. It's a trust issue, right? So the thing is that caveat is if you're an entertainer, so like if two comedians date, you can really empower each other, writing sessions and help that way. But if you're a female entertainer, I caution you to not sleep your way to the top, because what will happen is, you can ask Al Freeman. When I came in, I had so
he slept his way to the top.
He wishes, but no, he was saying the guys were coming.
That was a friend of mine. I never had that conversation.
Kind of like how the guys were coming on your show, messing okay. They all came to him because he was my mentor, so they're all coming to him like, "Ooh, how do I get with him? Or how do I get, what's up?" And I would always tell him all the stories about the stuff I was going through. Right. Of get the casting couch or sleep, this whatever. I'm not, and I would not do it because I want to be known for my brain and not my body. Right. And God knew not to make me skinny, honey, because He knew I've been on a pole long time. But the point is that I caution you as female entertainers. You get a reputation for that, and at the end of the day, you don't want to. It's about self-respect right? If you really become famous, did you get there from sucking dick? Or did you get there on your back? Or did you get there standing up and being yourself and being true to yourself? And yes, you can date who you want to date. All I'm saying is it's cool to date other entertainers. I'm just saying don't sleep your way to the top, because guess what? It's a little bitty world, and everybody knows everybody.
They do.
And you think it's a secret, but because everybody, I'm just going to tell one person. I'm not going to tell nobody. But that's the thing. Make sure if you are going to have a secret relationship with somebody in entertainment that you get them to sign an NDA first. And I'm dead serious.
You can tell we are entertainers. We're like, you're signing an NDA. We're going to do this. We're meeting here.
And I put on mine, it says, it does not expire. Okay. Because if we fall out, I don't want anybody to know about it, and they're not going to.
But going back to that, and you brought that up about the entertainment world, so on and so forth, it's just like so many people from my business, guys that have married other women that's in the business too. People kind of gravitate to people that, you know, I came up in the gyms. A lot of people got together because you bodybuilder, I bodybuilder.
Yeah.
We work out. You know, I see you at the gym. We're attracted to each other because we're in that same world.
That's right. That's
so
right.
I've seen so many people in different, you know, worlds of entertainment.
Yeah.
They can understand that other person's what you go through on a daily basis because we into the same type of stuff.
Have you ever had a female bodybuilder try to compete with you?
No. I don't even want to be around the women that work out no how.
Oh, well, good. But what I'm saying is that the comedians I have tried to date, they did not. The hurtful thing was not about they cheated. That wasn't the hurtful thing. The hurtful thing was they didn't support me. They didn't help me write. They didn't help at all with my career, and then would get jealous if I did something and be like, oh, that's how Wendy Williams blew up doing stuff at the radio station. Amber don't need me, and I'm just like, dude, like you could have. The hurtful part was that he was jealous of me and didn't support me and help me. That was what was hurtful. That is somebody not believing in you is no matter what, if it's a job or entrepreneur or artist, if they don't believe in you, I think you should run. And lastly, is just there's immature love and there's mature love.
But I think it's something too that, you know, like you know, it was unfortunate with you with the comedic thing, but I know people, and I've met people, and I know a lot of people that's into the same thing, and their relationships work out really, really good when they understand and, like you said, support each other.
Right.
That part.
Because I never wanted to date anybody from my business.
Exactly.
But it was always hard, like my last fiance. It was very hard for her to deal with not knowing the professional wrestling world and you being gone all the time. So the first thing comes. Exactly. But you know what? Like I told her, I don't hold it against you because you don't know.
You don't know.
Right.
But you know, but you love a person and you want them to be faithful, but deep down in your brain, because you know your friends are saying, girl, he probably doing this, that, and you know what I'm saying? They can't avoid it. So it's pressure on her, and it don't matter what I say.
Exactly.
Because she can't see me.
That's right.
And that's hard to deal with. And I used to always tell women that dating a guy like me is hard to deal with because I'm gone.
Exactly.
And it's, you know, and then you see all the soap operas, you read the tabloid stuff, you know, about all these other people. So you just assume it's got to roll over into what he does too. And it could be true.
Right.
But if I tell you it's not true, I'm not a liar.
Exactly.
Something that we say all the time here on the show is, you know, don't let your new man pay for your old man's mistakes.
Wow,
you know what I'm saying? Like, just because he was a cheater, or just because he messed up, doesn't mean you're a cheater, doesn't mean you're going to mess up. Just because you see the wrestlers on TV screwing around and being unfaithful, doesn't mean he's screwing around and being unfaithful.
Exactly.
Screwing around.
Exactly.
Yeah, at the end
no,
of the day.
I've always been when I'm into somebody, if I've given you a ring and say, hey, you're my fiance, I'm into you.
I mean,
but that's just me. But a lot of women have never experienced that. And that's why I said I couldn't come down and get mad and, hey, look, I'm telling you this, that, and the other, you know, because I know how the world is.
Right.
And I know how the human mind works. If you see it enough and hear it enough, Adolf Hitler was right. The bigger the lie, the more people believe it.
Ooh,
and you can convince yourself of that too.
They want to.
So it was what it was. But, you know, we still friends to this day.
That's good. See, that says a lot about you, because if you can end a relationship still on good terms and still be friends with, I'm even still friends with the guy. I'm still friends with him. I said, look, when God may have brought me in your life to teach you one thing, I said, you're not further along in your career because your karma is so bad in how you treat women. So I'm here to try to tell you as a friend that you really should, you will get further along in your whole life if you just clean up your karma. So guys, at the end of the day, we're at the end of the show, but at the end of the day, you will not have a healthy relationship with someone else as long as you are still toxic with yourself. Stop searching for the right person in other people and become the right person. Become what you want to attract. Stevie Ray, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was so much fun as usual. How do people get in touch with you and follow everything?
Well, hey, you can go to Twitter, Stevie Ray on Twitter. You can go to my Instagram, Real Stevie Ray. You can go to Facebook, Stevie Ray Athlete. You can also go to my Twitch channel. That is Twitch. /, www.Twitch Stevie Ray TV. You can go to my Patreon, /Stevie Ray TV. You can go to YouTube, Stevie Ray TV. Man, I'm all over the place. Man.
I was like, dang, there's only like one platform he didn't mention, and he's probably there too.
You're not even looking.
Listen,
I'm all over the place.
I'm gonna say the same thing about him that Amber says about herself all the time. Google me, bitch. That's how you find him. Google me, bitch.
But yeah, everything's going.
You deserve it, but
And keep a lookout for the world's most dangerous podcast.
Ooh.
Every night, Monday through Wednesday, Facebook, and sometimes we'll go YouTube and Twitter. Sometimes I do them all at the same time. But check it out.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And thanks for tuning into the show. Thanks to Maridate.com. We've got a 7-night resort giveaway for you, Stevie. Up to 3,500 locations. You can take, what, 3 people with you? 4 people. 4 people can go.
To take them where?
3,500 locations.
Wherever you want to choose.
It's a vacation.
I was thinking about going to Florida, but the buildings are not so stable in that area.
Screw that. Go to Jamaica. They got some places in Jamaica.
All over the world.
You'll love that better.
Go anywhere you want to go. Take anybody you want to take.
What about Haiti?
Actually, you know what? I think I saw something in there for Haiti. I really think that they have a resort out there.
I think I want to go to Haiti.
We'll check. We'll send it to you, and you let us know.
First, they got to capture all the guys that assassinated
the president. Yeah.
Then I'm going.
That's why I was like, well, you may not want to go yet.
Steve's like, what are they going to do? Come on.
They ain't looking for me. You know, I'm on the other side of the island.
Woo! He's like, I'm gonna be on the resort, nice and safe. What you talking about?
All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Thanks to Maridate.com, Houston's first private social club for couples, for sponsoring our show today. The events are on the calendar. You can go check it out. We're looking for host couples, and we reward you with free travel, and we also have a focus on mental health. So go check that out, Maridate.com. And for more information about being part of the show here or anything that we do, go to amberneal.com, and we'll see you guys back on Monday or Tuesday. I haven't decided I'm coming into work yet. Okay.
Also, before we take off, we are looking for salespeople, guys. We are hiring here at Boss Up Houston Network. We're looking for salespeople. Actually, let me rephrase that. We're looking for closers. So if you can close a deal, bring your butt down here. Apply online. Check us out, Boss Up Houston Network. And we're also looking for interns. So if you know anybody wanting to intern inside of the media networking places, let us know. Hit us up, BossUpHoustonNetwork.com.
And you're a DJ?
Oh, I mean, come on. If they don't know where to follow DJ Houston yet, then I mean, come on. Go follow me at DJ Houston 2 across all social media platforms.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a great weekend. Thanks again, Stevie, for coming on, and we look forward to having you back on in the future. Have a great weekend for yourself, too.
Cool.
All right, to be continued. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you next time on the Amber Neal Show.
Woo! Bye!
And this thing always does.
Wait a minute. Somebody just sent me something. I'm going to see if it's about this.
Bye, guys. We'll see y'all later.